It feels so crazy to be filming this, but this is my first trimester recap YouTube video, and I didn't know if I would ever get here, to be honest. And I'm so happy. I feel amazing now being at 13 and a half weeks, but I promised myself when I was going through the first trimester, I wouldn't forget how terrible it felt. It's like 8:45 in the morning. I just ate a plain bowl of oats because it's basically all I eat. I'm also drinking Gatorade, which is extremely random. I don't know the last time I've had Gatorade, but water also makes me nauseous, so that's really fun. And I tried to take notes of all the feelings and emotions and the pain that I was in. But first of all, I want to say that I never want to come across as ungrateful. I am so incredibly blessed to be carrying this baby, but I also had no idea really what pregnancy was like. And I'm not sure if I just was oblivious, if people already know all of this, but I certainly did not. I think when Michael and I decided to get pregnant, my fear was more about the delivery and actually having the baby, maybe postpartum, because I hear about that. But I had no idea that my whole life would literally just be flipped on its head in an instant. Going on week 10 of pregnancy. How many of these have you had for dinner?
Wow. Week 10, so how many days are in a week? 7, so 10 times 7, we're looking at 70? No way.
I can't cook. I'm eating a PB&J and a smoothie, which is major improvement that I can have fruit, so I'm excited about that. So I promised myself if I got to this point, like, God willing, that I didn't miscarry or anything like that, which was a huge fear of mine, that I would share everything that I went through. Just to educate and prepare people, because I felt so unprepared. I definitely took notes on my phone, so if you see me looking over here, it's because I didn't want to forget anything. So let's get into it. The first question was, how did you know you were ready to be pregnant? Truthfully, I did not feel very maternal until about 6 months ago. I was very maternal when I was younger. I loved to babysit, I loved being around babies, and then I think just a lot of experiences in my life led me to a place where I never really felt that calling to be a mom. I wondered if I would ever want kids, and I felt really guilty for that. I've always been extremely career driven. If you look at my office, I just have everything mapped out of where I want to take Hello Spoonful and what I want to accomplish. And to me, I was just thinking a baby is going to get in the way of that. I don't know, something in me just switched, and it really isn't an easy thing to explain other than feeling like it truly was a God thing. I don't know, I felt the Lord putting on my heart just a different calling for my life, or just taking it somewhere else, and just other things started to matter, and I wanted to care for something else. I just kind of started feeling that way, and I told Michael because he had been ready. We were on a 5-year plan, which would have put us at the end of 2021 to start trying. And, you know, we had agreed to that. He had agreed to that. Even though he was ready, he knew that's where we stood. And so I just brought it up to him saying, I'm not really sure what this is, but I really feel a new, I don't know, internally I'm just feeling something pulling me. Once I said that to him, I just, you know, I didn't want to be like, here's the green light, let's go right ahead. But I just kind of wanted him to be aware of where I was at. And then slowly that nudge just was turning into this huge pull, being like, you're ready to be a mom. We actually got pregnant on the first try, which is insane. I never thought I would be that person. I've heard of it happening, but I've also heard of people taking years and going through IVF and all of these things, and truthfully, I thought that would be me. I thought because I went through disordered eating in college, I lost my period for 3 years. I just knew I had damaged my body in so many ways and hadn't treated it right, that I just thought, you know, my hormones are probably all messed up. I'm not gonna get pregnant. Like, it won't be me. My mom had trouble getting pregnant when she first tried, but I still just thought, you know, I'm gonna have trouble. And so I'm really glad that I was 100% ready when we tried, because literally, if you watch my video of telling Michael when we got pregnant, I said that I just felt it.
I'm just recording this because I feel like I might be pregnant. Obviously, it's way too soon to tell. It's been 6 days.
It was just like this huge like intuition or Holy Spirit. I don't know, something in me was just like feeling that I was pregnant. Yeah, just glad I was fully ready because it happened way quicker than I ever would have thought. How did you find out you were pregnant? So all of that is in the other video. I took a test. I took an early response test on the first day that I was supposed to miss my period because I wanted to make sure it was 100% accurate because my periods weren't always perfect. I had been off birth control for over a year, but I wasn't the person that's like every 28 days or every 30 days. There was still some days that, you know, sooner or later. So I didn't want to take an early response if I was having a later month. So I took it the first day that I was supposed to miss, and I was by myself. Again, you can watch that whole video. I tried to capture all of the emotions. It was insane. All right, now let's get into symptoms. And this was the part that I just want to be brutally honest about. And again, don't want to come across as ungrateful, but I just had no idea the amount of pain and nausea and exhaustion that just comes over you. Again, I don't know if I had it worse than other people. I don't know if I'm just a wimp. I don't know if I was oblivious, but it was so brutal the first 9 weeks. I finally had my first doctor's appointment, 9 weeks. He told me about a nausea medication that I could get on. It's called diclegis. And again, I'm not here to offer medical advice or say you should get on this drug, but I decided to. And that's when things really started to get better for me. But those first 9 weeks, I was essentially on bed rest, which is completely different than my lifestyle. I'm usually waking up at 5 a.m., getting into emails, going to the gym, working out for an hour. I was like squatting like 180 pounds, like working out. Then I would come home, take Cyrus for a walk, knock out a bunch of like shoots for the blog. I couldn't do any of it. I would sleep all day. Michael literally was waiting on me hand and foot. He had to pick up every chore. He was taking Cyrus on walks, had to go to the grocery store, bringing me ice water because I literally did not want to get out of bed. It felt like I had intense food poisoning while also being hungover, while like riding a boat and getting motion sickness. I don't even know how to explain it. And then, sorry if this is TMI, but your digestion is so messed up. So I was having intense stomach cramps just because my digestion was horrible. So just really bad sharp pains. And I wasn't able to eat really much at all other than simple carbs. So it was just like saltines, plain oatmeal, crackers, pretzels.
These crackers, which Michael and I actually got over a legitimate fight about because he ate some of them and I was very angry because these are like my lifeline.
So when I went to the doctor, he basically was like, you need to add some more fiber to your diet. I think that will help some of this pain that you're in. And I was like, all right, I got the memo. I get what you're getting at. So I was also extremely dehydrated, which is not good for pregnancy. So when I went in and they tried to draw my blood, I've never had this problem before, but they actually stuck the needle in 3 different times and no blood would come out because my veins were collapsing because I was so dehydrated, because even water was making me nauseous. It was really, really bad. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get on Instagram. My phone made me sick. Looking at everyone's food was miserable because everything looked gross. So being a food blogger, I'm so thankful that I can work from home and I create my schedule so I can sleep and just kind of turn down brand deals. I don't understand how women go into an office. I feel like they should get maternity leave for the first trimester and then after the baby is here, because I physically was incapable to work. I don't say this to scare you. It's not like that for everybody, but for me it was. Like, that's how bad the nausea was, just being on bed rest. And so that was the first 9 weeks. After getting on diclegis, things started to get a little better. I was able to be somewhat of a human, like a functioning person, until about 3 o'clock, or more like 2 o'clock. And then I relied on taking naps. I would pretty much take a 3.5 hour nap every single day. So I would nap from basically 2 to 6 or 2 to 5:30, or and then I would get up and have to eat because I felt so nauseous. They say if you go too long without food, that can cause nausea. So honestly, I just would go downstairs, eat like a grilled cheese or a PB&J, whatever I could stomach, a bagel with cream cheese, and then go back up and pretty much just wait until I fell asleep. So that was from weeks 9.5 to 10.5. And then I started really getting better and being able to incorporate different foods and move a little bit more. I remember trying to go for a walk, and I walked maybe 1/4 mile and felt like I was gonna pass out and almost called Michael to pick me up. Pushed through, walked back home. By the time I got home, I basically was blacking out and had to lay on the couch until, like, I don't know, my vision came back. And then I just went upstairs and slept until dinner and ate some saltines and then went to bed again. Getting into like a little bit more of the fun, interesting things around pregnancy is food aversions. Wow, like basically every food I lived on, I couldn't eat anymore. So I wrote them down, I don't want to forget, but coffee, disgusting. Could not drink coffee for the first 10 weeks, not at all. Water, like I said, water was making me nauseous, which was not good. Baked goods or sweets, like chocolate especially, it still sounds terrible, which is really hard again when you're a food blogger and you're making all this stuff and you like need to taste test and make sure it's good before you put it out into the world. Yeah, ice cream, like those types of sweets, bananas, peanut butter. I live off of peanut butter, and it was awful. I wouldn't even taste it because it just sounded so bad. Vegetables. I remember one time I got a vegetable pizza and I really wanted to just try them. I ended up picking them off of my pizza like I was a 5-year-old. It's just not me. I love vegetables normally, but still can't do them. Yogurt, milk, cereal, meat. Still have a huge meat aversion, and eggs, which is a lot of these foods are foods that I lived off of, and suddenly they were all gone. So after 10 weeks, I started to be able to drink a very specific coffee drink. So I've incorporated coffee back in. Now I can drink, it's a half iced latte, half iced coffee, and it has to be freezing cold. Anything I drink has to be freezing cold. So that's how I drink my water now, is has to be ice water. I've tried to add lemon because I've heard that helps with nausea. I can finally eat eggs again. I can eat peanut butter, so I'm putting peanut butter in my oatmeal in the morning, which is so much better than just plain oatmeal with salt, which is what I was doing. I'm at 13.5 weeks, still can't eat meat, really not into vegetables. Cravings. If I had to sum up cravings of the first trimester in 2 words, it would be carbs and cheese. Any form of carbs and cheese. I lived off of pizza. We got bagel bites. I don't remember the last time I've had bagel bites. Grilled cheese, cheese ravioli, bagels and cream cheese, mac and cheese. Literally any form of carbs and cheese I could do. Another symptom was mood swings. One thing I have to share that is just the funniest story to me that I can think of to explain my mood swings was I actually cried over just thinking about Harry Potter. Not watching Harry Potter, not reading Harry Potter, just the thought of Harry Potter. I think it's because it brought back a huge wave of nostalgia for me, and suddenly I was transported into being in middle school, and I just wanted my mom, and I was like, I'm not ready to have a kid, like I don't know what's going on. And Michael had no idea what to do because I was just like, I'm just thinking about Harry Potter. And at first I was crying, so we didn't know what to do, and then I started laughing, so he started laughing, and then it was literally just the most insane thing. But your hormones are the most, they just take over your body and you don't know what's gonna happen or what's gonna trigger you. But for me, it was Harry Potter. Moving on to the doctor's visit. So how have the doctor's visits gone? Definitely interesting because of what's going on in the world right now. Michael's actually not allowed to come in with me, which has been really hard and weird. I think the first appointment, it was the hardest just because I had a huge fear about miscarriage. Because I think it's like 1 in 4 women miscarry, and I just felt like it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be one of them. And honestly, I still could. It's still a fear of mine, because even though the chances go down significantly after the first 13 weeks, I know people that still miscarry at 17 weeks, you know? And so it's still a fear of mine, and I just knew getting that news, if it were to happen, being alone would crush me and I wouldn't know what to do. But he's been awesome, just driving me to all my appointments and sitting out in the car waiting for me. He'll FaceTime in. My doctor's incredible. But I did have a little bit of a scare close to 11 weeks. I say that, it sounds way more dramatic than it was. A sign of miscarriage can be like if your symptoms go away. And I had a day where I just felt great out of nowhere, and I felt so sick for so long that I just freaked out and told Michael, what if I'm miscarrying? Like, I feel so good today, and I just want to enjoy the fact that I feel great, but instead it's freaking me out into thinking like, are you still in there? Like, why do I feel okay? Because the only good thing about feeling nauseous is knowing that the baby is growing in there, and you know that your body is doing a lot of work. And so when you start feeling good, you're just like, why do I feel okay? Truthfully, I think it was just my placenta was starting to take over, and that helps alleviate a lot of the nausea. But with that, we decided to schedule a extra ultrasound at a third-party place downtown in Atlanta called Hey Baby Boutique, and it was awesome. He got to come in with me because you can have a guest.
A healthy baby. It was really cool.
It was 163 beats. So strong heartbeat, nothing to worry about. Here, we hold one of these up.
Yeah.
It's like, baby.
So, hey,
I
baby.
love you, mommy and daddy. They gave us this little heartbeat animal. So now I can listen to that whenever I'm freaking out.
And I feel like at the 8-week appointment at our doctor's office, I really couldn't focus on what was going on with the ultrasound because I was trying to FaceTime Michael and just process all of it, and I felt so sick, and I couldn't really enjoy the moment of seeing the baby or hearing the heartbeat. And so going in with him at 11 weeks was really special. The baby had a strong heartbeat of 163. There was really nothing to worry about. And then after that, I just felt relief. Like, I can finally enjoy the fact that I feel good because I know the baby is safe. Whereas before, I was terrified when I felt okay. Down syndrome, some other things, but it also gives you the gender as early as 10 weeks. So after I did that 11-week ultrasound and saw that the baby was still healthy, I was like, okay, let's go for it. Let's do the blood test. So I have the gender results sitting in my drawer in the kitchen, just waiting, and I'm so excited for our gender reveal. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the question of how has your body image been during the first trimester? Is it tough not being able to work out? I thought I would be one of those moms or pregnant women in the gym just totally crushing it, and that wasn't the case at all. I know the first trimester is supposed to be the worst and you get a lot of energy later on, and maybe when I'm, you know, in the halfway through the second trimester or something, things will look different. But your body seriously just tells you what you need to do. My body just wanted me to sleep and rest, and all the foods I was eating obviously weren't the norm. Like, that's not what I was normally eating. I wasn't eating pizza every single day. I really didn't eat much pizza at all until I got pregnant, and then it became just the huge staple. I think it's really important to just remember that it's such a blessing and a miracle to have a tiny human growing in your stomach that really nothing else matters. Like I said, like your priorities, everything shifts. You had asked me, you know, 4 months ago to not work out for 3 months straight and just be in bed, I would be like, that sounds terrible. But the fact is, your body physically cannot. Like, I physically could not work out, so it wasn't a question. I physically could not eat the foods I could eat before. So it's not even a question. And my body is nurturing and growing. Like, I grew a whole new organ and a tiny human that has tiny toenails and their own set of fingerprints, and that's the coolest thing ever. So I think everything just comes in perspective. So for me, even though maybe I've lost some muscle definition, I haven't been able to work out, my diet isn't as nutrient dense as it was before, it honestly I haven't thought twice about it, because your body just knows what you need, and it knows what it needs for the baby. And I'm now thinking, everything considers baby. Everything I do does the baby, like, it's like, literally, it's like, baby doesn't want me to work out. Baby doesn't want me to eat vegetables. Like, I'm just doing what it needs. I don't know. I think, yeah, your perspective, your priorities, everything just shifts. So for me, not being able to work out, it really didn't matter. It wasn't an option. Same thing with foods. I've heard people be like, oh my gosh, like, you couldn't eat peanut butter or drink coffee. Like, that's my biggest fear. It's not like you've been able to eat these foods your whole life and suddenly you become allergic to them. So you still know how good they are and you crave them and you want to eat them, but your allergy doesn't let you. It's literally like, think of your least favorite food in the world. That's how now coffee sounded. Like, it didn't even sound good. It wasn't tempting me. So it wasn't hard at all to give it up because I didn't want it. That was like the same with working out. I did not want to go to the gym. I did not want to get out of bed. I just wanted to feel better first and foremost. I have my whole life to work out. I only get, 9 or 10 months to grow this tiny little human in my stomach. And that's the coolest thing ever. And I would trade all 9 months and 9 months after the baby's here for sure. Like, it just really doesn't matter. And maybe this will be different when I really see like a huge stomach come, or I start to put on lots of weight, maybe it will be more difficult, but I feel like I've done so much work and inner work and come to just have peace with my body, and my relationship with food and my body is just at such a good place at this point. And I think the Lord knew that. And that's why he called me to become pregnant right now, as opposed to 5 years ago when it would have been a whole different story. So I hope that made sense. It was a very long-winded answer, but that's just kind of how I see it. What are you looking forward to most in the second trimester? So I'm just very excited now to have more energy, to be excited about the babies. Our gender reveal is coming up. Very excited about that. I think it's a girl. I've thought it's a girl forever, and I'm not gonna lie, lately I've had the thought of like, wait, maybe it is a boy, but I'm just sticking to it. I'm gonna say girl. Michael switched and thinks boy because it stuck its tongue out at our last ultrasound, and he was just like, oh, it's a prankster, it's a boy. So now he's team boy, I'm team girl, I guess you would say. And I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to start looking at things to put together the nursery. That'll be really fun. And it's just nice to finally feel excited about everything and to be able to share it with people. If you sat through all of this and listened, I so appreciate you. I hope it gave you a better peek inside the first trimester and kind of better prepares you for what's to come. If I missed anything, leave your questions in the comment or shoot me a DM. I'm so happy to talk with everybody about everything. I'm sure I missed some things, but thank you guys so much. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe because it really supports my channel, and I will see you guys next time.